The United States, over $30 trillion. Japan, over 250% of its economy. The entire world, over $300 trillion. The numbers are no longer numbers, they are abstractions, a fog of obligations so vast it has lost all meaning. But every debt has a creditor. Every borrower has a lender. If every nation is a borrower, who is the bank? Did we borrow it from the future, from another planet? The question feels absurd, but the answer is far more disturbing. Because the creditor isn't who you think. The creditor is hiding in plain sight. You are told a simple story. Governments borrow money for roads, schools, and armies, and responsible lenders finance them. This is a children's story for an adult horror film. The modern system of sovereign debt is not a system of investment. It is a system of extraction, a machine designed to transfer wealth from the future to the present. The creditor is not a single entity in a dark room. It is a four-headed beast. And today, I will show you each of its faces: the citizen, the rival, the magician, and the child. And once you see them, you will understand that the debt itself is the end game. It isn't a bug in the system. It is the system itself. To find the creditor, we must follow the money. The first face of the creditor is you. When a government needs to borrow, its simplest method is to borrow from its own people. It issues a bond. A treasury bond is nothing more than a formal IOU. This is the most stable form of debt. Your pension fund, your insurance company, your local bank, they all buy these bonds. They are seen as the safest asset on earth because they are backed by the government's power to tax you. It's a closed loop. The first creditor is us. The government holds our savings, our retirement funds, our security hostage. They are a promise backed by our own future labor. The second face is the foreign power. When Brazil sells iron ore to Germany, when Saudi Arabia sells oil, it gets dollars. This creates a problem for them. They have mountains of dollars. So what do? They buy U.S. Treasury bonds. Countries like China, Japan, and the UK lend their excess dollars back to the American government. This is presented as a sign of strength. The borrower is now servant to the lender. A foreign power holding your debt holds a lever on your foreign policy. This is where the story turns dark. What happens when the citizens and the rivals won't lend you enough money? In the past, you would default, the system would reset. But today we have a new invention, the central bank, the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve steps in and says, we'll take it. But where does the Fed get the money? It doesn't have it. It creates it from nothing. It presses a button, a digital entry appears. This is called monetizing the debt. It is a magic trick. It is the state writing an IOU to itself and calling it an asset. They are not borrowing from anyone, they are printing. The third creditor is the printing press, disguised as a bank. This is the most insidious form of taxation because it is hidden. It is inflation. It is a slow, silent default. It is the path taken by Rome, by Weimar, by every failed empire in history. And this brings us to the final, most terrible creditor. It is a lien placed on the labor of people who have not yet entered the workforce. It is a mortgage taken out on the prosperity of a generation that has not yet been born. Politicians speak of investing in the future. The reality is they're stealing from it. And the bill? The bill is left on the tab for the unborn. The picture should be clear now. The creditor is not one entity. It is a parasitic system with four hosts. It feeds on the citizen's trust. It feeds on the rival's surplus. It feeds on the magician's printing press. And it feeds on the child's future. They tell you this debt is manageable. They're selling you the cage and calling it a castle. This isn't a system for building a nation. It's a system for liquidating one. Now, some national debt is normal, but we have left the world of normal. We are now in a world where the debt is growing faster than the economy. This is no longer economics, it is a matter of faith. This is not a partisan issue. It is a mathematical one, and math is unforgiving. So, faced with this invisible, all-powerful creditor, What is the rational response? You must exit. Not physically, financially. You must do what survivors of every collapsing monetary regime have done. This is the dual strategy: hard assets and hard skills. Hard assets, value that cannot be created by a central bank's keyboard. Gold, silver, scarce property. They are the financial lifeboat in a sea of broken promises. Hard skills. The debt system is an abstraction. The real world runs on tangible value, the ability to grow, to build, to fix, to teach, to create. Hard assets protect your past. Hard skills secure your future. You need both. You now see the four faces of the creditor. You see the machine. They want you to remain a willing participant in your own financial erosion, but you do not have to. History gives us the blueprint for what comes next. The illusion of debt is powerful, but the reality of value is permanent. Next week, we explore the final act, the Great Reset. Is it a conspiracy theory, or is it the publicly stated plan? Subscribe, not for fear, but for foresight. The pattern is clear for those willing to see it.